time again for Buddy Martin. Call him up and tell him what you're thinking, but be kind because he's doing the best he can.
Better, stronger, faster.
Mama says that alligators are ornery because they got all them teeth but no toothbrush.
Hey, what if the voice calls while you're gone?
Take a message.
Bye.
You ready, champ?
I'm ready for this my whole life.
I'm incapable of small talk. But that's why you love me, right?
Kind of intimidating to be in the presence of so many great athletes.
Good evening. Welcome to a Friday night edition of the Buddy Martin Show right here on Facebook as we're with you every night at 9 o'clock this time. The face on your screen, take a good look at that beautiful face, folks. You'll probably see it in Hollywood soon. He's a friend of ours, a guy I've known for a number of years. I tried to hire him one time, but I didn't have enough money. And he is one of the foremost authorities on recruiting. And I know that our people are lined up with all kind of questions. Jason Higdon joins the program now. Jason, thank you. The last minute, we managed to get this technology worked out. So thanks for coming on the program.
Thank you, sir. You'd think between the two of us we'd be able to figure this out, but I'm just glad to be here, and thanks for having me on.
Yeah, man, this is great. We thought we'd be able to get Franz Beard on, but it looks like he'll have to sit on the sideline for a minute while we do our business. And this is a big night for our listeners because tonight, Jason, you appreciate this. You know what these are, these teases that we got to do. We've got the goodie bag here for our elite members. And we're going to give away a bunch of great gear tonight. Or if you'd rather have 2 tickets, Bull Gator tickets to Tennessee, Florida, or Mississippi State, Florida, you can have either one. It's like Monty Hall, Jason, what's behind door 1 and 2. So they get to have a drawing.
The win-win.
Yeah, win-win. So Jason, catch me up. I know you have done recruiting. I know when Coach Meyer was here, he was a guy that followed you very closely, as others have done. And I know you've been with a variety of people. You have your own website now. I plead ignorant, Jason, because I kind of lost track of it. Catch us up, will you?
Yeah, it's the name of the site is firstandtenflorida.com. We launched about 2 weeks ago. Site's been great. We've had nothing but, fantastic feedback from all the members. And, it's kind of a homecoming for me. I was with Scout for the last 12 years and, started here, like you said, with Urban and those guys covering Florida back in the day. And, when Charlie Strong left and went to Louisville, I kind of migrated and helped build the Louisville site. And then, of course, he went to Texas. And so I was with Texas for 3 or 4 years, but now it's like a true homecoming. And, I truly believe I'm kind of back where I belong and where I started. And it's been fantastic for the last 4 months, just seeing the site kind of come to life and seeing the response from the members. And it's just been great all the way around. So we're having a blast at firstandtenflorida.com and, encourage everybody to come check out the site, ask questions. We're there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, answering anything from the team to recruiting to, whatever people want to talk about. So it's been a blast so far.
Well, that's good to know. I want to write this down as we're talking, so I'll have the information in my hand for people to say, now, what was that site again? First
yes,
and
sir.
10, spell it out.
It's 1ST and Florida.com, firstandtenflorida.com. Yes, sir.
Worst, A-N-D?
Yes, sir.
And T-E-N?
Correct.
And QB or quarterback?
Florida.com.
Florida.com. All right. Florida.com. Okay. There it is. I'll put that up on our screen here in just a minute when I catch my breath. So we got a lot of questions for you. But while we're waiting for some of our people to queue it up here, our fans are climbing aboard right now on a Friday night. We have a number of questions for you. Can you fill us in a little bit on what the overall picture has been for the Florida Gators in recruiting? Because there have been a lot of critics out there about Dan Mullen, and we know that they obviously a transitional year. It's not the easiest time in the world, but give us I know Florida moved up. I've seen some of your tweets. Florida came from way back and now has made a bit of a move on 2019, but still has a ways to go. Can you give us an assessment, Jason Higdon, of Florida's recruiting right now?
Yeah, I think it's going great, really. They have 4 offensive linemen, which is going to be a staple of the team over the next couple of years. Obviously, they have a big verbal commitment from Jalen Jones, who obviously is the big-time quarterback, 6'4", 210 pounds. He's a perfect fit for, Coach Mullen and the offense that he wants to run. Extremely athletic. He's super fast. I mean, he has all the tools that you're looking for to run the style of offense that Dan wants to run. So, they have some big kids they're still recruiting. Naquan Wright is a running back down in South Florida that I feel pretty good about. You got the pair at Lakeland with Lloyd Summerall and Keon, the tight end, and of course Lord's the outside linebacker. They have a huge commitment with Muhammad Diabate from Auburn, who committed not too long ago. They picked up a big commitment from Will Harrod, another offensive tackle. So I think they're definitely going in the right direction. They have a lot of guys actually that are committed to other schools, whether it's Quayshawn Fuller or Chris Steele or, a kid like Derek Hunter or Aaron Beasley, who's committed to Tennessee. He's a safety from Georgia who actually was teammates with Emory Jones, who was just here last weekend, had a great trip. So there's a lot of kids that I think are still waiting to kind of see what Florida does on the field. But, the great thing is they have location, they're building relationships, and they have immediate playing time basically at just about every position that you could name. And those three factors, from what I have found over the last 12 years, always seem to be the three most important factors that any kid uses before ultimately he makes his final decision. So there's a lot of things that are still left to kind of be untold behind closed doors. But, I feel like they're right where they need to be, especially having the 4 offensive linemen. And I think they have a great chance to get 2 more and probably show up with 6 come, National Signing Day in February.
Well, Mullen, people are questioning, is he going to turn out to be Ron Zook? Is he going to turn out to be Jim McElwain? Is he going to turn out to be Will Muschamp? In terms of his recruiting at a level of 1 through 10, regardless of your relationship with Dan, and by the way, I like Dan. I'm glad he's here. Where would you rank him as a recruiter 1 to 10 right now?
Well, I mean, I think when you try to rank anybody on the staff right now, you can only look at the body of work that they've accomplished, which in this case is the guys that have publicly committed. So looking at the guys that are publicly committed right now, I'd put it 7.5 to 8, kind of around, somewhere in that range. I think that if things continue to progress the way they're going and the way I'm projecting them to, they'll get around 8.5, 9. And really the key positions, the big need positions, as every Florida fan will tell you, is offensive line and quarterback. They're really deep and kind of talented with the skill position. They need more bodies at linebacker. Right now, a lot of the guys in the linebacker room seem to be all of similar size and build. So they need guys with length to come in and play that 3-4 position that they're trying to install. And I think they'll be able to do that. So, it remains to be seen, but I definitely love the projected path that they're on right now.
Yeah. You're right about the defense and about the players on defense. They really are needing help on that interior defense right now. And, Reese coming back will certainly have be a big factor for them. But, it only takes a couple of misses and a few injuries to get you in trouble. Florida, which used to call itself DBU, now is short of defensive backs. When's the last time you thought you'd hear that? So what are you hearing about the defensive backs?
Well, I like where they are right now. They have 2 out-of-state kids committed. The most recent was Jaden Hill from Bob Jones High School. He's a kid really who could probably play safety or corner, which is why he's so valuable for Coach Warren and Grantham with the scheme they run and what they want to do. And, of course, the first corner they got was Chester Kimbrough, who's also out-of-state from Louisiana. So, with those 2 guys on board and with really, really big-time targets still out there like Kyer Elam from South Florida, and you still have Chris Steele, who's committed to Southern Cal, who still speaks to Florida on a regular basis. He's talking to Coach Mullen's wife a lot. Chris put that on Twitter not too long ago. Most Florida fans really had no idea that he was still in communication with Florida until he sent that tweet out, which has kind of sent the recruiting world, kind of upside down a little bit. Then you have guys like Maurice Hampton, who came on an official visit already, who's committed to LSU. He's a fabulous baseball player. I know that he's had some conversations with Sully right now about playing maybe baseball at Florida. And if they really got involved, that could really help. And, they have a lot going on. I would say that there's probably no way they're not going to get 4 corners in this class. And then you take a look at a kid like Jarvis Brownlee, who's committed to Miami, teammates with Naquan Wright. There's a real chance there that if things continue to progress with Naquan Wright, you might see a Jarvis Brownlee switch from Miami to Florida as well. So, and that doesn't even take into account a kid from my hometown, Jalen Perry, who's a Georgia commitment, who's also saying he's going to take an official visit to Florida down the road. So I think there's probably 5 or 6 corners that people publicly know about right now that are still in conversations with Florida.
So that's
2 of them committed. So
that's interesting, and I think encouraging to some fans who feel like that Florida's been lagging a little bit in that department. Let me ask you a question. You're a guy that works close to your sources. You knew Urban well, you know coaches well. I understand you may be having dinner with a couple of them tonight. I'm not sure. I won't mention any names, but I will just say this, that here's my opinion, and I want you to tell me if I'm wrong or not. I'm optimistic about Florida at the skill positions. Because their skill positions were so much better than they've been in 10 years, I got a little over-optimistic. What I forgot about was the offensive line difficulty, the transition heaviness he's got there. It's a job. He needs to learn. Guys know how to pass block, and they've been used to running a pro-style offense, and now they're having to dance forwards and backwards a little bit. And so it's a long question, but having said that, my feeling is that Florida 10 years ago had the best group of wide receivers ever, maybe right up there with Jaquez Green and Ike Hilliard and Odell Anthony, whatever. And there was a drought. There's been a drought. Now suddenly there are 8, maybe 9 players at wide receiver you can get on the field. That's incredible. And here's the plus. The guy who coached those receivers 10 years ago is the guy coaching the receivers now, Billy Gonzalez. That, to me, is pretty significant. Your thoughts?
I think it is, too. And, I think the 2 most significant pieces that were added, obviously, were Grimes and Jefferson. I don't really think people understood how good those guys were. And you were able to see it from day one in practice. Mm-hmm. If you talk to any of the DBs or the corners, they would flat out tell you these guys are unbelievable, not only just athletes, but wide receivers in general. And they've shown flashes right away. So I think the challenge is with those guys and Tony and even Cleveland that with the struggles up front on the offensive line, if Florida's not going to be able to generate a true running game where they can, bully people off the line, so to speak, which after 2 games, we definitely haven't seen that. This is definitely a pattern of concern for me from the guys up front. So, when they get the ball out quick to those guys in space, what we've seen so far through 2 games is these guys make the first player miss. And they seem to get positive yards every time they do it. So, 20 years ago, they played Georgia and they were supposed to get smoked and they exclusively ran the bubble screen the entire game and won, basically subsidizing the bubble screen for not being able to have a traditional run game. And I think we're going to see some of that stuff as we progress into the season and start playing teams that have a more physical front than what we saw from Kentucky. And I don't think anybody would have thought in a million years that Kentucky's front 7 would have been able to kind of pretty much control the line of scrimmage the entire game.
All right, I know you got dinner. I won't keep you any longer. I appreciate your time. Don't forget, we'd like to have you on some more, hopefully, and I understand you and France may get together. That's good. It's kind of getting the band back together, a little bit like the days of Gator Country, when we tried to recruit you and couldn't get you, but that probably turned out best for you in that regard.
Well, I think things happen for a reason, and now here we are. So, I'm excited to be a part of the show, and I look forward to coming anytime you guys will have me. So
man, we'll love that. And you got your credentials speak for themselves. And folks, if you don't know about this man, just Google him, okay? Jason Higdon, you'll find out he's one of the premier authorities on football and recruiting. Let's not make it recruiting because there's more to it than that. He's got a little broader stroke than that. And by the way, he does things besides talk to 18-year-old kids, just so you know, right?
It's bad enough I got to talk to my own 18-year-old
There you go. Well, listen, you're in Atlanta, right? You're in Atlanta?
Yes, I've been in Atlanta, been there since I was basically 10 years old. So both my parents graduated from Florida. I was actually born at Shands Hospital, lived in Jacksonville, until I was 10. And then since then, buddy, I've basically been deep in enemy territory for the last 37 odd years. So,
yes, you have. Well, welcome back home. Welcome home. And our listeners, our 5,000 strong Gator Nation kingdom growing every day is loving you being here. And here's one right here from David Soderquist, who is the guy who's all over this site. I love Higdon. Okay? I love Higdon. So there you go, right? And getting a thumbs up from Wayne Cohn and lots of other people who says they like you. So we want to get you back more. We're going to do some great things together. It's going to be fun. Good luck on 1st and 10 Florida. We're going to link up and run some of your stuff on some of ours. I have a website too. I never bring it up, BuddyMartinMedia.com. And also we have several Facebook pages. So it's great to hook up with you, Jason. And thanks for spending some time. And let's do this a lot, and let's do it soon again.
I'm looking forward to it. Thank you so much.
Great stuff. Thank you, Jason Higgin. There he was. He's the first10Florida.com. All right. We're going to take a little break here and see if we can't get a little business done, and we'll come back and we'll get Franz Beard on the other side, hopefully. Hope you folks are having a good night. Don't forget now, coming up, we've got our drawing. It's going to be a super duper drawing, by the way. You get a choice. You can pick for yourself whether you want to take the tickets or whether you want to take the goodie bag. The goodie bag looks awfully good. It's very fat, by the way. And it's got stuff in it like, whew. I mean, you saw the pictures. This is just the elites right now, folks. Just the elites. They paid their money and they got their chance. We're going to have prizes for everybody, members along the way. We got some more. Jan Skoke's been out there. He's got things for us we're going to be able to do as well. And so we'll get to that. But tonight's the elites night, okay? This is the night for them to shine. Somebody's going to be a very, very happy people tonight, all right? Let's do this. Let's see if we can visit our friend Dan Hightower. I guess we can't. Hold on. This happened again, as it did last night. Let's do this instead. Here we go. This is a good one. As far as sports, and then here's the commercial.
Go ahead, do your research. You'll find positive feedback about Daniel L. Hightower, Ocala's experienced car crash and work accident lawyer. Dan's excellent track record will put you at ease immediately, because you deserve to be treated like a person, not just a case. To have all your questions answered promptly and thoroughly. To feel confident that you made the right decision. And best of all, to know that he'll fight to get you just results. Call Daniel L. Hightower today, 352-629-7777.
Daniel L. Hightower, lawyer fighting for accident victim justice since 1976. Richie almost beat me to it. He knows this by heart. We're going to be dialing up our friend Franz Beard. Thanks for Franz for lining up that interview. It's going to be fun, man. You talk about having some information now. You're going to have some really good information. This guy is a pro, and he gets it right. So we're very fortunate to have him aboard our team, the ever-growing team of Franz Beard, the Iron Duke, the Crown Prince. And by the way, how did you like that new line today that we revealed? We're going to put it up again in a moment. Right now, let's go out to the Iron Duke and see. He's been out working out. You can look at his shirt and tell. Francis, what's happening, buddy?
I stink. I've been sweating, and
Wait,
now I
you
stink.
Always stink, but that's a forget. I'm sorry.
I can't stand the smell of myself right now.
Luckily, we don't get to smell you on Skype. That's one good thing about it. But hey, Jason was good. Thanks for lining that up. And he says he'll be back often, and that's a good thing. We're going to be able to have first-class recruiting information on our show.
He is absolutely the best there is. Yeah. He is the best there is. There is nobody more well connected to the Florida recruiting scene than Jason, and believe me, he's enthused. He believes that this is going to be a really fine recruiting class. I know that we've got some people who are skeptics, but take it from Jason Higdon. Dan Mullen is going to do just fine.
And as I was talking to him, you probably didn't get a chance to hear it. By the way, Soderquist says you look like you're jacked tonight, ready to go. So there you go.
I'm sweating right now.
There you go.
That's for sure.
Shout outs for the Iron Duke everywhere. Yeah, for sure. I like the fact that this guy doesn't. He's not a guy that deals in tweets. He does tweet, but he doesn't. People make stories out of his tweets. and he's got solid information. He has relationships, which you and I have worked off of relationships our entire life, you know? And we believe that instead of just being somebody who shows up at a press conference and writes a superficial story, that you need to know people and have a relationship, and you're trustworthy. And this kind of guy, that's how Jason works, right?
Well, I got to tell you what, coaches trust him. And I'm talking about high school coaches. I'm talking about college coaches. He has earned their trust because for example, I'll tell you, a lot of guys in the recruiting business, a kid will tell them something in confidence, and next thing you know, it's all over Twitter, it's all over everything, and they're talking to, a kid may think, I'm a little bit concerned about this situation at, let's say, University X here, and he'll tell that in confidence to a recruiting guy, and that recruiting guy, next thing you know, says, well, John Smith here is wavering his commitment. No, he's not. He's just concerned. And Jason doesn't do that. If Jason puts it out there, it's solid information. You can count on that 100%. So he is going to be Mr. Recruiting for the Gator Nation Kingdom, the Gator Nation Daily News. He is Mr. Recruiting, and he's ready. He's going to come on there. I'm going to ask once a week for questions, and Jason's going to do Q&A. Going to do some Q&A, whether it's written out or on Skype or whatever like that. But we're going to answer your questions, and we're going to have the best informed recruiting community out there.
So what's the schedule with him? We're going to have him on your show on Mondays with Tom Collette on Gator Nation Daily News, wherever you guys are doing it from. Then we're going to do sometime during the week to be scheduled. We'll do here on the program. And when the season gets on, we'll do quite a bit of it.
I think we should do a Monday nighter.
We could do Monday night. Yeah, we could do that
because a weekend update. Because kids talk over the weekends.
Good point. Yeah.
So
I agree.
So I think we should do that, and of course this is Football Friday, and this is going to be a regular thing.
Friday, that's right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you've broken in the folks with the name yet, but this is Football Friday.
Yes, it is. In fact, I'm remiss because I was running behind. Dinner was late tonight, and I didn't get our little graphic up there. But I'm going to go ahead now and put something up on the screen just to ensure. What color do you want, France?
Oh, well, I think football should be in orange and Friday should be in blue.
Well, I don't know if I can make different colors, but I'll try. It only takes one.
Buddy, you're a genius, buddy. I mean, you were the one that helped give birth to the Crown Prince, who we know is a genius.
Hey, listen, I mean, look, that's his mother's stuff. But here's the deal: Crown Prince has his own collection now. So I'm saying. He has his own collection, so I'm just a humble peon.
And he's gone from a size 6 7/8 hat to an 8 8/8 to a 8 and 19/8 hat.
What did you ask me to do, Francis?
Why'd you put football in orange and Friday in blue?
Oh shoot, I got it the other way around. Well, there you go. It's on the screen.
Well, okay, it's okay.
I figured it out, but there you go. It's up there.
Football Friday.
There you go. It's Football Friday.
And, hey, that means on Football Saturday, which is tomorrow,
yes,
that the Florida Gators have a chance to get a little bit of redemption for last week. I know it's not SEC redemption, but at this point in time, a win is a win is a win. And getting a win in the Big Mac Bowl, because that's what
we haven't talked about that very much. We should.
Yeah, well, this was part of the buyout. We give Colorado State a $2 million game, which is about $1 million more than anybody else gets to come to a home game.
Yeah.
And Big Mac got all his money, and then Colorado State's still getting theirs. And I got to tell you what, sometimes you just got to admit that this was a bad deal. There was nothing good at all about this deal, whether it was him as a coach or the money that was involved in it. I think we're going to get to a point in time when we look back and realize that thank goodness it was only 3 years.
That's true. That's true. I mean, look, the deal is that that a mistake was made. We hear every day almost, or every week, and I hate to go back and trash people. You know, that's not my style. You know me better than that. But you know, and I hate this idea. You know my thing about it's the last guy's fault. I don't like people blaming the last guy. But I mean, look, more and more we look at the transitional teams we've seen from, you know, from Zook to Urban, you know, from Urban to Muschamp, even back to Charlie Pell from Doug Dickey. Those are tough years. There's always tough years. I was telling a story the other night to one of the guys in administration at the University of Florida about how Charlie Pell got his weight room because their facilities were so terrible. And I said this the other night that he saw Dave Thomas from Wendy's, whose daughter went to the University of Florida, and Charlie told me the story personally. and Dave said, "What can I do to help you?" And Charlie says, "I could use a weight room." And Dave said, "How much does that cost?" He said, $50,000. $50,000 wouldn't buy you a machine these days, but back then it was a lot of money. And he said Dave swallowed real hard, like he was eating at Wendy's. I put that part in there and said, "Well, okay." And Dave Thomas built the weight room. Charlie was a fundraiser. You knew him really well. I knew him pretty well. And he left, unfortunately, a situation of his own doing there where he did some things he shouldn't have, and he paid a big price for it. But he was a big part of re-energizing the Gator Nation and getting facilities. And if we didn't have, and getting Ben Hill Griffin to stroke Florida a big check for having a stadium named so. It takes that kind of person. And now look where Florida is, Franz, all over again, trying to catch up in the arms race, right?
Well, let me go back to something. I think I mentioned it earlier in the week, but I'll tell you. Let's go through this again. Steve Spurrier left 26 guys to Ron Zook, who ended up playing in the NFL. Ron Zook left Urban Meyer 25 guys who ended up playing in the NFL. Urban Meyer left Will Muschamp 34 guys who ended up playing in the NFL. Will Muschamp left 25 guys who have played in the NFL, and not all of his guys have graduated yet. So that number, I figure another 3 or 4 guys will move on to the NFL that were Will Muschamp guys. So figure 27, 28 guys. When I look at what McElwain left behind, I will be shocked if we look back and say, well, 20 McElwain's guys ended up playing in the NFL. I will be totally shocked by that.
Yeah, good point. Let's talk about tomorrow's game. 20.5 point favorite. A lot of points. In all my pools I'm in, I took the 20.5 points. And I hope I'm wrong. My thinking is that Florida's defense has really got to step up. They were really, when you look at the numbers were really poor. And it was because of a terrific offense performance by Kentucky. But Kentucky's not Alabama. Let's don't get carried away here. So unless that interior defense gets better with David Reese back there, and they tackle better, it may be a day's work for them against Colorado State, who, by the way, did beat Arkansas.
They can't run the football, though.
Neither can Florida, apparently.
Well, these guys, trust me, Florida looks like the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse from Notre Dame compared to what, they're averaging about 75 yards a game rushing. Not very, very good. They throw the ball a lot. They do throw it a lot. They average about 299 yards a game passing the football. That's their forte. Tells me 2 things. The Gators have got to establish a pass rush. They've got to make KJ Carter-Samuels, and this guy is not chopped liver. This is a guy who was one of the top recruits in the country, and he went to the University of Washington, and he happened to show up about the same time as Jake Browning, and Jake Browning will be no worse than a 2nd or 3rd round draft pick next year. But this is a guy that was a very highly recruited guy, and he got beat out by a guy that's going to be a high draft pick. So he's not chopped liver. He can throw the football, and he's got a couple of really big receivers. Florida has got to get pressure on the quarterback. And when they get pressure, I look at last week and Terry Wilson, for all the times he gained yards, positive yards, I think all but 2 times that he ran the football, Florida had a hand on him behind the line of scrimmage and couldn't bring him down. And it comes down to what you just said, buddy. If the Gators cannot tackle any better than they did last week, they're going to have troubles with a team called Colorado State. And that should never, ever, ever happen.
Yeah. Look, we talked about this last week. When you start looking at, I'll move my sign back. I'm told I made the Friday in red, so I'm being punished for that. So let's see if I can change it. Here's the thing about it. Now these become nervous games, Before, you could kind of mail them in and say, all right, we knew you had 4 or 5 wins in your back pocket. Kentucky was one of those. That's out of play. Now you go back to a situation and say, well, it's not exactly going to be so easy to get to that 7 or 8 number, and you got to find one. And you say, who can we beat? Well, it's going to be pretty hard to beat some of those teams. Certainly, we know LSU is going to be a boatload. Georgia is probably an L.
Mississippi State,
FSU, Missouri, and you got potentially 6 losses.
Oh, heavens. Well, and you got to remember something. You play in Knoxville and you play in Nashville, and those are never, ever easy games. And Florida's got to play on the road, both those places. I think Dan Mullen is going to get wins that, let's face it, he's used to getting wins in places that he wasn't supposed to. He was at Mississippi State, and he was always I can't remember too many years that Mississippi State wasn't picked like number 6 or number 7 in the SEC West. It was always down toward the bottom, and he typically got somewhere close to a break-even record in the SEC West. And I'll tell you what, breaking even in the SEC West is not easy to do.
Especially with A&M looking like they're looking now.
Oh, I'll tell you what, I told you last week, beware of the Aggies, and if not for a rotten call there down on the goal line, and I've watched that thing every which way in Sunday and seen it 10 different angles. That was just an absolutely rotten call. Jimbo and the Aggies got screwed by the Zebras. I don't know if that was an ACC crew or not, but I wouldn't doubt it. They're the worst. They are the worst of the Power 5 conferences. They have the worst officials, bar none. Now, it's not that so in basketball, but it certainly is in football.
Yeah. Yes, for sure. All right, so my thinking is you just try to get a win. It's like in baseball, friends. You played the game. I played the game. In baseball, when things go bad at the plate, you're 0 for 30. You just got to get the bat on the ball to start with. Get the bat on the ball, and then you hope make contact, and then hope one falls in. It's like a win here. You gotta get the bat on the ball tomorrow, and make it most important. No mistakes, no fumbles, and block and tackle. Just the fundamentals is what I'm looking for out of this team. If they'll go out there and miss tackles, which I don't think they will because the running backs aren't exactly the same as Kentucky's, and they make turnovers and the quarterback throws picks, well, this is going to be a really long, miserable season. This team has got to execute, and they've lost a little bit of their zest. They've lost a little bit of their edge. They've lost that relentless effort we look for. I don't know what it is about this team. Now, it's not a disaster. I mean, look, they just got some adjustments, and they can make them. But I would say it's a nervous game.
Well, I think Florida has to be nervous about it. I'll tell you what, there's a lot of guys that have to be nervous. I noticed they stuck with the same 5 offensive linemen, and that tells me that either they have nothing behind them, or else Hevesy has basically said, okay, guys, one last chance before I start shuffling things around. And I have to believe it's the latter and not the former. I think Hevesy basically has come in there and told these guys, okay, if you don't show me something better than you did last week, we start shuffling the line.
Yeah.
I have to also think that Dan Mullen has had his sit down with Felipe Franks and said, said you had a good first game. You took 2 steps backward this game. If you don't take 2 steps forward in this game, then, you may not be playing as much as you think you're going to. Mm-hmm. And I got to think that's so. Florida's got exceptional wide receivers. When you got guys like Trevon Grimes and Van Jefferson and Tyree Cleveland, in between the 3 of them, they get the ball 5 times in a game against Kentucky, where Kentucky's playing its cornerbacks way off of them, giving them 5, 6, 7-yard cushions, and you can't get the ball to them. I got to tell you what, something's wrong. Kadarius Toney has got to get the football tomorrow, and by golly, Damian Pierce has got to get on the field. I'm still convinced he's Florida's best running back.
Yeah. Well, he didn't touch the ball last week, so there you go. All right, Francis, let's wrap it up, buddy, and thank you once again. Good job on Jason. Let us know the schedule when he's going to be on with you and Tom Collette. I guess your schedule for noon on Monday, as far as I know.
As far as I know, we will be noon. We will be the lunch bunch at Ballyhoo's on Monday, and if you want to come there and have without a doubt the best grouper sandwich you're going to eat. This
is good. It is very good. Yes, it is for sure. All right, Francis, I appreciate it, buddy. We'll talk to you on Monday night. All right.
Talk to you, buddy. Take care.
Franz Beard. All right. Franz Beard checking in, doing his usual fine job. I want to get to some of our. Speaking of hungry, I had a good roast beef tonight, but I tell you, I got to thinking about this, and I thought, whoa, this is something I could use. I mean, that is a beautiful piece of lobster and a beautiful piece of meat right there, isn't it? Are you hungry on a Friday night? I got to get my copy here. Yeah, are you hungry on a Friday night? Yeah. If you're hungry, the place for you to go is right there on the Mark's Prime Steakhouse and Seafood. 2 locations to serve you, Gainesville and Ocala. They do it right. They got the terrific service. They got premium wines, fresh vegetables. I love their spinach dishes. They're serving family style. And it's an elegant surrounding, but it's also great food. And I'm so happy my friend Randall White is back as chef. Let's hear it for Randall. Yeah, man. He's one of the best. He's very creative. He's one of the best chefs anywhere in North Central Florida. And he's back at his old haunt. And I'm so happy. I can't wait to get out there soon. In fact, I was going to go tonight, but didn't have time to try it out. So there's a place you should try if you haven't done it. A place that is well known around here if you like good food. Mark's Prime Steakhouse and Seafood. 2 locations to serve you in Gainesville. You can call 352-336-0077. Ocala 352-402-0097. Complimentary valet service. Go online to marksprimesteakhouse.com and see for yourself. And, of course, they want to create a unique experience for you when you dine at Mark's Prime Steakhouse. All right, coming up in just a minute, we're going to do the drawing. Is anybody getting excited about the drawing? I don't hear a lot of talk about it. Maybe we shouldn't do it tonight. I don't know. I don't hear a lot. So let's do this for RentStar Medical Research. There's our player of the week from last week. We'll have another one next week. RentStar is a premier medical research facility operated by Joe Sorrentino and Mary Brantley, wife of Scott. And had this business for quite some time. They were actually high school classmates in South Florida, came up here, started this business, and they've developed this superior medical research facility with the reputation as the high-quality, patient-centered clinical research. RentStar Medical Research does lots and lots of studies on things like Alzheimer's disease, psoriasis, osteoarthritis, migraines, fibromyalgia, along with many other conditions that affect our community. So there's a reason they've done almost 700 clinical research trials, continue to do that and partner with prominent pharmaceutical and biomedical companies throughout the medical industry. So go and call them at Ocala at 352-629-5800 if you'd like to be part of those clinical trials. You can go online to www.rentstar.net and check out their information there and find out why they say about RentStar Medical Research, seeking tomorrow's answers to the health questions of today. And there's our RentStar Star of the Week, okay? All right, so let's see what we got going on here now. All right, let's see how serious you're getting out there about these prizes. All right, I don't hear a lot of buzz about it. I heard one person texted me and said, it's my turn. There are 3 of you who won before, and you elites, please go online. And I'm going to give you basically 24 hours to claim this. If you don't get back to me by tomorrow night, it goes back in the hopper, okay? The person whose name I draw out of here, I have to go get the queen. There are all their names of the elites in here, including the 3 who have won before. If we draw one of those, we draw again. You know who you are. So I want you to know that you've got your choice: 2 tickets from Tennessee, 2 tickets from Mississippi State. One or the other. Bull Gator seats, okay? Bull Gators, all right? And then you have the choice of that, or you saw the picture if you checked online. This bag is loaded with stuff. As a matter of fact, right behind me over there is one of the items. That shirt, that women's, good-looking women's gray shirt is there. And we've got, I don't even know where to start here. I got one of my books in here. We got this magnet there. We got koozies in here. I don't know. And shirts in here. It's loaded with stuff. I'm telling you, it's a terrific bag. So the persons whose name I pull, you're going, in just a minute, we're going to, after this interview we're going to do our bets, is going to get their choice. Again, let me emphasize the choice. They're going to get a choice of that bag or 2 tickets to either Mississippi State or Tennessee. All right? If you're on an honor system, if you aren't going to go to the game, then please turn the tickets back and let's redraw, whatever, and we'll do something else with them. All right? It's up to you to be honest about that. So what we're going to do here, and yeah, I don't think Lynn has ever won. I don't believe. Yes, Lynn's in there politicking, saying now, hey, remember me? I love you. Whatever. Smart. Okay. I'm going to do this. Let's. Earlier today, Tom Schmitz and Joe Williams of Mile High Sports in Denver and the Joe Williams Show, we sat down, did our weekly picks. Now, I think I did pretty good last week, but somehow Tom lost the results. Sometimes Tom does that when Tom doesn't do well. However, we're going at it again today. We're going to wager mythical money. We sat down. We talked about our picks, talked about what we're going to do. Here's how it turned out. All right, let's go out on the hotline to Denver, Colorado, and the Mile High City and the Mile High Sports King. I guess he thinks he's king, or he's something out there. He's got his own show. He's been king as long as I've known him. Joe Williams, who's the prognosticator. He's the premier prognosticator of the Rocky Mountains. He joins us on the program today to give us his wisdom. How you doing, Joe?
Well, at least I'm not running around in a weasel suit like Dan Bowen is.
Oh, cheap shot right off the bat there, wow. Huh? Yeah, cheap shot off the bat there. Well, let's see how good you're going to be, because we got some serious cash.
He managed to accomplish something that no other coach in Florida in 32 years did. He lost to Kentucky.
You're going to start off on me, aren't you, today? And wow, I guess I'll just have to take it. We'll see what you decide to do when you get that 20.5 points with your Colorado State Rams. By the way, can you give us a little preview of what's going on there with the Rams?
Well, they started off slow, obviously, losing to Hawaii. They really got bombed by Hawaii. They came back and made it close at the end because Hawaii's not used to being ahead of anybody by 3 touchdowns like they were. And then, of course, Colorado was just better than they were, bigger and better. And then last week against Arkansas, who would have thought it? Be honest with you, I hate to admit this. I was watching it, and when they got down by 18 in the third quarter, I had turned it off, and I started watching something else. And one of my friends called me with about 3 minutes to go and alerted me that the score between CSU and Arkansas was now tied. So, yeah, I have to admit I gave up on CSU, and then they came out, and they've got a pretty good passer. Their defense really is their undoing. They don't have much of a defense at all. They try to run the ball. Preston Williams is their best player. He's a receiver, a transfer from Tennessee, and he's a heck of a player. If the Gators double him up, I think they'll probably be all right.
Well, that explains it, because as soon as you got off the bandwagon, they started doing well. That's the Joe Williams hex.
What bandwagon?
Turned them off. Turned them off, and I gave them good luck, good karma. When you get off a team.
I have a lot of games to watch, Budrow, because I've got to come on this show and impart knowledge to you.
Let me remind you of one thing. Get your map out.
I can't sit there and ride a loser.
Let me just point out one little thing. Get your map out. Realize Fort Collins is in the state of Colorado where your radio program is. Just giving you that little heads up, okay? But I'm not going to do it with you today, Joe, because we got business to do. And Tom's going to give us – here's the bad news about it. I had another great week. The week before that, I was here 6-0, and you weren't here then. And then last week, I did great again, but guess what happened? Tom lost the paper.
It didn't count, Joe. You weren't here to pick anyway.
Guys, I got all kind of problems going on. So,
well,
all right.
You know, woulda, shoulda, coulda. I mean, I would have been 3 for 3, but it doesn't matter. So,
okay.
There you go.
Now, these are the games that Thomas picked, and please feel free to throw in your blue plate special if it's not included. Tell us where you're going to go all in. If you are.
We will differentiate because my money games that I put the big money on are different than the games that y'all want me to pick. So
you don't know big money
on each one of those.
You don't know big money.
100 on each.
I got my biggest bet of my lifetime going on this, my quarterback club pick, so I'll probably do the same thing here. So, Tom, tell us where we stand right now. How did we do last week and the week before, and how much money do I have? How much does Joe have?
Well, I have the least amount of money. I got $10,800. I started with $10,000. I made $800. Well,
that's not bad, $800.
You started with $10,000, made $5,800.
Oh, that's pretty good, Joe.
And went 6-0.
6-0. You can't get any better than that.
No, you can't.
Well, actually, you can, Joe.
What?
Because Joe went 4-2.
Yeah.
But he still made $100 more. Do you ease it $15,900?
He got 2 wrong. He can't win.
It's not about how many you get wrong, buddy. It's how much money you wager on each game and how it comes in.
He does it again. Changes the rules. As soon as I start getting it, he wants to change the rules. All right. Whatever y'all say.
Yeah, Tom, explain to Buddy how that works. You know, some games you put 2,000 on, and some you put 100 on. Mm-hmm. And the ones that you want to win are the 2,000 ones, and you don't care about the 100 ones.
Uh-huh. And Joe's 2 losses were $100 games.
That's exactly right.
His 4 wins, 3 of them.
And I tell you, it'll be the same story this week too.
So y'all got an advantage. Both of y'all are gamblers. I'm just a regular guy out there trying to make just make a pop or two. You guys are professional gamblers.
I resent that.
Well, Tom traveled the country playing professional poker.
I resemble that.
Yeah,
that's poker. Poker, by the way, is not a game of chance. It's a game of skill.
It's a game of skill. It's not a game of luck.
Skill.
Good to know, because I'm not good at that either. Okay, we got to go because we got to get this in before the time's up. So who's going to go first, and how are we going to do this?
Well, let's get Joe's money picks, and then I'll give him 3 of these.
He always has to go first.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I'll give him my money picks. I like Boise State plus the points against Oklahoma State for 2,000.
Okay.
What number do you have on Boise State, Tom?
I don't have it in front.
I'll tell you what, my card says 2.5, and I went the other way. I went the other way on the quarterback club.
All right, Boise State plus 2.5 for 2,000, and I want South Florida. By the way, my number 2 team in the Florida State Power Poll.
Yeah, who's the best team, Joe? I know UCF. Yeah.
Central Florida is. They're number 1, followed by South Florida, number 2, and I got the Gators 3, and of course Florida State 4. So, but anyway, my other pick for 2,000 is South Florida minus 10.5 against Illinois. Those are my two $2,000 picks. Now let's go to your games.
All right.
Now how are we going to do this? All in one, or are we just going to tee each game?
Well, I got to give Joe 4 of these games.
All right.
And then you and I'll do 4, the same 4.
Too complicated for me.
All right, Joe, let's pick FSU at Syracuse. FSU's laying 3.
Yeah, I'm going to take Syracuse for 1,000. Plus 3.
For 1,000, okay. My phone shut off on me. Of course it did, because technology does that kind of thing to you.
Use a real phone.
Okay, I'm not even listening to that comment there.
There you go.
Oklahoma at Iowa State. Oklahoma minus 17.5.
Yeah, I'll just go. I'll go wide on this one. I'll take Iowa State plus 17.5 just for 100.
All right. Okay, let's go down the list to LSU Auburn, which a lot of people think is going to be the best football game of the week, Joe. LSU's at Auburn, and Auburn's given 10 points.
Well, I'll take Auburn for 500.
Okay. And then we got one more game.
Ohio State?
Well, no. One more game. I was going to get Joe to pick the game.
We can pick them both.
Okay. Well,
if he wants to.
Well, let's pick Colorado State at Florida. Florida's given 20.5, Joe.
All right, I'll take Florida for 100. For 100. Florida for 100.
Minus 20.5 for 100.
All right. Is that it now?
That's his 6 picks.
So I get to go next, or you're going to go?
You can go now.
All right.
Sure, Joe.
I'm just going to go ahead and go. I'm going to go ahead and take what you got here.
All right, go ahead.
I'm taking Florida State for 100, laying 3 over Syracuse. I'm taking opposite of Joe, Oklahoma to roll over Iowa State. Disappointed me against Iowa, by the way. 17.5. I'm going to Oklahoma laying the points.
How much money on Oklahoma?
I'm going to go $100 on that game. Vanderbilt at Notre Dame. I don't know. That's a tough game, but that half point makes a difference. Everybody else is giving a half, so I'm going to go ahead and lay it and take Notre Dame for 100. LSU at Auburn. LSU for 510.
510?
500 for 510 points.
Go ahead.
Ohio State TCU. I've got Ohio State. I got TCU plus 12.5 for 300. And you ready for this? Drum roll, please.
Here we go.
Colorado State plus 20.5 at Florida. The Rams plus 20.5 for $3,000.
Oh my goodness gracious!
Well, Joe, I think we're fixing to. I think he's fixing to be down in the bottom of the totem pole after this week.
See.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Boy, that's a lot to put on the Rams, buddy. Have you seen Colorado State play?
Well, have you seen Florida's defense?
Well, of course I have.
Okay.
Of course I have.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that Colorado State can or won't cover, but you're going to put 3 big ones on there. 3
Well, let's
large?
put it like this, Joe. Colorado State beat an SEC team, all right? And
well, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, Florida's going to have to score at least 21 just to have a shot, and that means they can't give up any points. Colorado State's going to score. I figure Colorado State will score twice on that defense at least, and I think Florida will probably score 5 touchdowns. What's that? 35.
Keep this in mind. As part of the Jim McElwain buyout, this game was arranged. CSU is getting $2 million to play this game. That's the only reason they're playing.
It's going to be bad karma because of McElwain.
Well, I'm just telling you, that's the reason they're playing. They're not coming down there to win. All right, they're going to get out of there with $2 million.
Okay, well, we'll see. I'll get my 3,000. I'll be happy.
All right.
Okay.
Now here comes Tom. He makes the rules. He gets to pick. Let's see what you got, big boy.
All right. So I got Syracuse and laying the point +3 at home in the Carrier Dome.
Mm-hmm.
They play well up there. People don't usually play well up there, so I got Syracuse +3.
We know all about that. Just give us the pick.
500. I got Oklahoma minus 17.5 against Iowa State for 1,000.
Yeah.
I'm going to take Vanderbilt going into South Bend and covering the 14 points. Vanderbilt plus 14.
You got 3 losses so far.
500. I'm taking Auburn for 1,000, laying the 10 points.
You got
against
4
LSU.
wrong. There's 4 wrong.
I'm taking TCU, getting the 12.5 against Ohio State for $1,000.
And
I'm taking the University of Florida, laying 20.5 points.
All right.
For $1,000.
Somebody's going to be in Fat City next week.
Buddy, let me ask you something. Is it possible to get through a round of picks without all this editorializing? Is it possible?
On your show, no. I take enough abuse when I do your show at Mile High. But as you say on your show, and I got 20 seconds, I hear the music's playing, Joe. Means I got to go. But I'll be calling you during the halftime tomorrow and letting you know how much money you are losing as I'm watching the Rams.
All right.
And the Rams and the Gators going at it. And we'll talk to you tomorrow. The Hitman, Joe Williams, from the Joe Williams Show in Denver, Colorado. Thanks, Joe.
Okay, boys.
All right, thank you. Well, there he is, the Hitman. You heard it. There's the picks. What do you think out there? Okay, well, there we go. If I can get a hold of Miss Joni in there. Yo, Johnny, it's time. There's the link, by the way, for the if you haven't seen it, the Crown Prince collection, women's and men's tees. Take a look at them. They were designed by All Florida Sportswear, but you got to keep that visible at all times so they can see it. I'm not going to eat it. And anyway, there's the link. All Florida Sportswear. Have them by next week. And if you're interested, please, you can now post that if you like. Post that link and tell people this is where our special Ring of Honor shirts are going to be in the Crown Prince and Princess collection. Some of you already ordered them, so I hope you did, and I hope you enjoy them. All right, it's time now. It's the witching hour. It's 4 minutes away. We said earlier, hold that up, Joan. This is the goodie bag, which we have filled up with stuff from. You saw the picture if you checked your photographs. They have that in someplace. Some of the items that are in this bag. It's heavy, and some of you might not want to go. Let's see if we get these pictures up here. All right, there you go. There's some of them right there with what's in the bag. That's, as you can see, that's not all. The winner of this gets to have that whole bag of stuff. I don't even know how much it's worth, but it's worth quite a bit. Or if you don't want the bag, you can have 2 tickets to go see Tennessee play Florida play at Tennessee, or you can go see Dan Mullen go home to Starkville, Mississippi State. So that's your choice when we draw these. Now, how we're going to do this, we've told you, we don't want you to sell these tickets. It's on your honor system. This is for the elites, drawing only, and the people who have paid their money to be an elite. By the way, if you want to know more about that, PM me. You can still get in under the wire this season to be an elite if you'd like. I'll try to do a better job of outlining those duties. So we have in our hand, Joan, how many of these did you do?
28.
Is that enough?
That's what you told me. Let's
make sure we got the right number here. So let's just go to C. I know we either 28 or 29. I forget which. Why don't you? Let's see here. Let me find these up here somewhere. I had them earlier.
You told me 28.
I did tell you 28, and you may be correct, but I want to make sure I'm correct. So let me just look in here and see. Meanwhile, I hope you folks are having a good night, and I hope you're going to have a good weekend. I've chosen not to go up to Gainesville tomorrow. Many of you are going because we had the situation with our. We're keeping you up.
Yeah. Sorry.
It's called Talk Show. And then if you chose to go or didn't go, whatever. All right, I don't have the elites. I got to count them. I think I counted 29. While you do that, you talk to people and tell them what you're going to do. You're going to have one in each fist, right? One of these in each fist, and whoever, the first person to put the left or right up, don't do it yet, is the fist we're going to take. So you'll be the one deciding it, not me. And meanwhile, I'm going to go up here and count the elites one more time, either 28 or 29 of you, and I think 3 of you are not eligible. Am I right about that? Who's listening out there? Jan Skoke, are you there? Chad Rich, you're not there. Many of you are going to high school football games tonight, which is a good thing. And Johnny, I know you're sleepy, but could you refrain from yawning? Is it all right? All right. Let's see here. My wife has no patience whatsoever. We'll have this over in a second. As soon as I get this called up, I want to double check my figures because, look, I want to be circumspect in this, okay? I want to be sure that I do this the right way, all right? We're going to go with just hang on one second. Anybody got any high school scores tonight while we're waiting? Yeah, high school scores. So any high school games? If you don't know this by now, we have the Scott Brantley Trophy scouting team. They're out scouting high school players and doing a really great job. Thanks to Todd Ingram and to Todd Duffy and the gang for doing such a great job on that. And that award's going to be announced next spring with a super great evening. Hang on, folks. We're going to do this. I'll tell you what, John, why don't you do this? Why don't you go ahead and draw two, and put one in each hand. Fold it up, one in each hand. All right, one in each hand. All right, where that is. And I'll get the elite list up to make sure I got the right people. And I want to do this the right way. Thanks to All Florida Sportswear for all the things they've done. And I'm on the elite page now. And I'm going to go to, it's 12 people who already want to be a member. Whew. Okay, let's see if we can get the members. This is all the stuff I don't like doing, but hey, we got to do it, right? Members. I've even got them up here somewhere. Yeah, tomorrow's game, Florida will win that game. I'm pretty confident of that. It's also about the showing. It's about how well they play, how well they execute. Do they respond to the call? You've got hit in the mouth, like they say, and they got to respond. And so we'll wait and see. But in my opinion, they will. But how much, I don't know. All right, Joan, let's go back to our comments here. Give me a second. I'm slow on this part. All right, and we're going to get your comments up here, and we're going to see what they tell you to do. This is how it works. And get the window up again of the comments. All right, where are you? All right. Joan Martin has in her hand one of the numbers, and she's going to listen to you. Left or right? Tell me which one, left or right. The first one I see is what hand she's going to take. She has one in each hand, or 28 numbers, 29 numbers, whatever it is. You guys are talking football. We got the drawing going on. We'll give you 30 seconds. Give me a left or a right for Joan Martin. Hold your hands up there. I think they're all talking among themselves and don't really care. Left. All right. Thank you, Lauren. Oh, wait a minute. Jake Allen Lamb said right. Okay. Jake Allen Lamb said right. That would be this hand. Put that one back in there. Open up this number. Now, hold on before you do that. I've got to go back and find the membership numbers so I get that right. It's going to take a minute. You talk to him, John, while we're doing this.
I don't know what this is or what he's doing.
Hey, that's not nice to say.
We made all these numbers and we cut them out and folded them all up. So now you get to pick one.
You picked it. We didn't pick it.
And whoever is on this number.
And there's the list right there.
Gets it.
Now, the 3 people on this list who are not eligible. And you know who you are, all right?
Okay.
But they were in there. So if they get called, then they won't get the prizes. Again, you pick tickets or bag. Joan, drum roll.
Okay, you ready?
Hold up so people can see it. Hold up.
Oh,
The camera's right here, Joan.
It is number
20. Number 20 is Brent English. Brent English is the winner. Brent English, right there you see on the screen, number 20, is the winner of the elite drawing. Again, you heard me say it before. I will say it again. There you go. That you have 24 hours to get in touch with me. And Brent English, you will collect the goodie bag. You'll get either the tickets.
Are you finished with me?
Yeah, good night, Joan. She's gone. She wants to get paid for this. I'll write this in. Yeah, wake him up. Somebody needs to wake him up. Yeah, but Lauren, somebody was ahead of you, said right. So anyway, you're right. You did say that, but you were the second one, not the first. Yeah, and Jake Allen Lamb said right. I don't know what the other number would have been. She put it back in here now. It doesn't matter. But you see on the loader, I saw your name first, Lauren, but it was So there you have it. Well, you know what, Brent? Maybe you should pay better attention. All right. Congratulations. We'll find out tomorrow. It pays to stay around. Congratulations to Brent if he wants to claim his prize. He's got until 9 o'clock tomorrow night, basically, to let me know whether he wants the tickets or the goodies. And then there we go. Yeah, we do good stuff here, and we're going to try to do more for you. And we'll have more prizes next week. And listen, let me get back, if I can, to one thing on the Crown Prince's line. I haven't heard a lot of response on here, but last night I heard a lot of people, and people said they were ordering it. And I talked with Tony. By the way, kudos to Tony. What a great job Tony did. He worked his tail off and getting these shirts ready and to get them in time for our tailgate on LSU. LSU weekend is going to be a big, big weekend for us. It's going to be Tim's weekend for getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. It's going to be a big game for Florida. It's going to be a big tailgate. Bubba unable to pull it off today because he couldn't this week because he has to be on assignment, on call for the rescue, and luckily answered prayers about what's going on up there in the Carolinas. That's good news, isn't it? Really great news. So here are the shirts, and these are so cool in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm the only one that thinks this, but I think these are going to be shirts that are going to be epic. People are going to want them. And just so you know, the green, there are some shirts of the elite that are not on here, and they get to purchase those. If you're an elite member, you're entitled. They're golf shirts. There'll be others, but look at this. I love the fact that we're commemorating our own. That's what we call that one on the right, the orange one. Yeah, thank you, Jennifer. I love the fact that the G&K is so bold in that orange shirt right there. See it? I'm not an orange person, but I'll tell you what. Yeah, I'm either Robin. You got yours in. If you haven't ordered, go on the links and order them. I reserved some for you yesterday, but you still got to order them. And that's why you have to go to that link. Good night, Nat. Yeah, it is the blue one it is on fire. You're right. I mean, I could take any of those. If you look at those, I love the fact that the 15 is on there and circle around it to Gator Nation Kingdom. That's good. Yeah, Lisa, they are great shirts. I agree with you. And so we're going to be decked out in those babies in a couple of weeks, and we're going to be looking sharp. I had to get one of each. I mean, I had to get one of each, and I got the golf shirt. So anyway, there you are. Hope you get yours. All you folks, thanks for hanging around tonight. I'm not a big fan of Friday night shows, quite frankly. I like to go out on Friday nights, but that's when I thought maybe you all wanted to do it. Maybe we change the time on Football Friday to an afternoon show. We'll see. But we thought we'd try it tonight and see. Some of you went to bed early. Maybe you're just old codgers like me. So we'll toy around with that and decide what we're going to do on Football Friday. It's going to be a good time, whatever we do. So, yes, there is a promo code on there. It's use GNK. Thank you. That's for GNK members, by the way. And you get free shipping. Save yourself some bucks on that. If you have any questions, we can get them to Tony and anything you need to know. So, all right. Have a good night, folks. Good night, Gator Nation Kingdom. And thanks for a great week. Let's hope tomorrow it will bring success. And that Monday we're talking about a victory. But this is football. And things happen. And you got to remember the reality of it is anything is possible. Okay? So we will say have a great weekend. And see you back here on Monday night. Jason Higdon, let me know how you feel about Jason Higdon. I think we scored big with Jason Higdon, don't you? I believe we did. And it's going to be a good time. Talk about recruiting season. We're going to have it. All right? All right. Good night, everybody.